Well, I decided instead of painting it on, to actually stencil it out. Cut it all out and place it over here. Stencil it out and let the wood beauty of the table show up.
I dream of sailing. You know I always dream of sailing. Take me far away, sailing. You know I always dream of sailing. Freedom on the seas, my love. Dancing on the waves to warm places we don't know. Loving life Madonna style and steady as we go. I dream of sailing.
Everybody threw in the trash?
Yes.
Talk about the paper. Let's see what we like best.
To bring it a little bit closer. Now go put the genie bottle.
And where would the genie bottle go?
Well, the table has been sanded with a belt sander and wiped down. Putting up this masking tape around the edging to hold back from anything dripping onto the floor. The idea will be that once I spread up the top, cut it, stop it a little shy from the tape, peel off the tape, but that will prevent any runoff, and then with a brush just go in there and brush the outside edges. And going to do the same thing with this half of the table. Well, hello again. We're about to tackle the second part of the tabletop. And warning, this is the first time I've attempted anything like this. So my hopes is that it comes out good, but if it doesn't, well, you know, we all have fails, right? Except this would be an expensive fail. I've gone ahead and I've prepped the table. Well, Fatima and I, we sanded it all down, cleaned it up really well. Fatima, you gotta use a tack cloth or something a little bit tacky to get rid of any lint that's out there. So we belt sanded it, sanded the edges by hand, and I think the table looks pretty good. We filled up a couple of spots of this cork that's on here. Like I said, the hopes is that everything looks pretty good once this stuff is done. The mix for this is a 1-to-1. It tells you to mix it up 3 minutes in one container, then pour the contents to a second container and mix it for another 3 minutes to make sure you have a thorough mix on this. Now I'm going to make a small batch at the beginning. Maybe even enough to do the whole thing, but my thinking is probably mix a small batch just for me to wet the center of the table to get the stencil in place, and then work it to go all the way around the top. Now I've put tape on the edge of the table, not to be a form of any kind, but to stop any drips from coming down onto the deck. So for a measuring cup, I'm just going to use this up to maybe the second line or the third line up on each one of these mixes. I know it tells you to be accurate. Now, I've worked with resin before on a couple of bowls in a small scale. And my experience with it before was that it takes a long time for it to cure up. Now the instructions on this one do not say anything about using, can you get me a knife? Using power mixer or no power mixer. But it doesn't say do it by hand or do it with a mixer. Well, I'm going to use a mixer at a very slow speed. Okay, I got it. I'll push the trigger. So this is the clear epoxy. Give me the stencil. Oh, nice. This has wavy lines. But anyway, I'm up to the second line. And that will be more than enough to tack it down. Do you have another one of these bottles so I don't mix in the bottle?
The water bottle?
Yes.
No.
Huh?
No, but I can get you one. I can empty it into a glass. So you're using, I don't need to open this bottle now?
Well, no, it's not empty, so I'll just use this space. I'm gonna need that squeegee or brush or something. The way I'm going to be spreading this out will be with a spatula. I want to get this center area over here because that's where the stencil is going to go.
Just gonna lay this out over here on this side, the way we had. I don't have enough room.
So I need the exact thing. So we have done the first coat enough to keep the stencil down, and right now it's still a little bit tacky, but you can touch it in most places. And we want to make sure that we press down when the edging, anything that's up in the air. Right now we're getting ready to pour enough this time to do a self-leveling on this and see how that works out. All of this is still kind of an experimental type thing, because even though I've seen people doing epoxy work, but they're working on level surfaces, we are constantly shaking over here back and forth with the waves and the wind and all that stuff. So hopefully we can get a flat enough surface, and I'm actually going to let it pour into the tape edges a little bit, as long as it doesn't end up on the floor. We don't want that to happen. So I've been mixing this for a while now. And I think that's gonna do it. I think we need a little bit more base. Both area. No, don't do that. Sorry. Well, surprisingly, it's coming out pretty good. Did not work out the very first time, and I wasn't sure we were going to be able to save it. Anyway, what I did is I made one more mix and poured it out and made sure that it got everywhere, but I cut this up and made some teeth on it, and what it does by doing that is it wouldn't blob the excess material going back to the beginning and leave streaks or edging. It would leave the ridges, and they would just flatten themselves up, and you can see that worked really well. Then some of the bubbles I actually went in there and I kept tapping. I kept tapping it, breaking up some of the bubbles, and it would leave like a rippled effect, and it would level itself off. We have not done this side yet, so I'm going to bring you to when we fill this up and see exactly the process that I used over here. But the tabletop, you can see that looks really amazing, and I think the iDos is nice and flat. I had a hell of a time with the iDos where the edgings kept curling up on me. All the little cuts, everything kept rolling upwards. I would bend it down, put it down, and I kept playing with it throughout the whole time until this became really tacky, where I was able to push it down one last time and it stood. And before pouring it again, I made sure that the edging was down. But the torch will remove any leftover tiny bubbles that are there. So any tiny bubbles that are trapped in the surface, very lightly with a torch, and they just come up, pop, and flatten themselves up. Now, it's not a perfect environment, so I know and I expect it to have tiny flaws. And because the boat is moving, there is a little bit of waving going through, but it gives it the illusion that you're in the water. It really does look pretty good.
That does look incredible. I'm happy with that. Very happy.
You don't sound happy?
But the table does look amazing. Okay, now make the other side, the other corner.
And I'm using a slow speed on the mixer over here. I'm not whipping this up. And now I have to hit that with a torch one more time. I see still a couple of small bubbles coming up. So when I'm torching this one, I will go over a couple of areas over there again. If this works out as well as I'm thinking it is, or if it holds up, we will have some other epoxy projects coming up on the boat. So here we go. Start up at the highest point, which is this corner right here.
That's enough.
Yeah, really the idea behind it, the trick behind it, is making sure that you have enough on for it to spread itself. If you're too thin, then it's not going to run out, and you're going to end up with a lot of stuff, unwanted stuff. Like if I leave it like this, definitely not good. Give me the rest of that. Put that in. Okay. You want to make sure that you carry enough in the front of your trowel so it's not leaving any real voids other than the teeth marks.
Which you can see that it fills itself in nicely. You want to run it along the center tape over there? There you, right there, perfect.
Now the torch would do all of this, but this is not doing me any harm. I'm making sure that nothing is trapped inside of it by doing this.
And it's therapeutic.
Zoom in or focus in on the steps. This also helps to level it out, any vibration, because you can actually level by vibration, like they do in concrete, but that's not what I'm relying on. But if it helps a little bit, it helps a little bit. Good?
Good.
Now, let's see what the torch does on the rest of that.
Okay.
Now, if you look closely, you can see all kinds of little blisters on it.
And you see them disappear. I hope the camera can pick it up because it's amazing. You actually see them poof. Looks amazing. Okay, and this is gonna cure for about 24 hours?
Yep. And hopefully the love bugs don't come and sit on it.
Oh, that would not be good.
There's a blister right there that popped right out.
Okay.
It really looks crystal clear.
It does, it does.
And the wood grain really showed up nicely.
Yes.
The iDos, well, it could have been a little bit brighter, but it gets the message. It should not be a shout out. It should
Oh,
only
let
be
it
a
shout
highlight.
out.
Well, it's not a shout out. So it's a little more subtle than what I wanted it to be, but that looks pretty nice as well. What do you guys think? So again, this is almost a DIY channel with all the stuff that we've been doing. A lot more work than sailing, but trust me, we plan on doing a lot of sailing in the near future. I have a couple of more things that we still need to do to the boat for us to be completely blue water boat. We are already a blue water boat. We got water maker. We don't have to rely on marinas. We don't have to rely on going to shore all the time to replenish water. But what I want to do still is add a couple more solar panels. I got right now 610 watts of power. So I'm thinking that I will reorient these to the long way, have a new frame, the square frame that's on the top, made up to go all the way to that outside pipe and go from front to back, which will be 6 foot roughly. That's what they are, the width. So going to the back, that support has to be longer for wind, to make sure that it doesn't go up in the air. And so I'll be able to fit 4 panels back here, and then I still have the hard top. I'll fit 1.5, I guess. So we'll fit a 300 watt on this side, and this side, because of the skylight, I'll fit another small panel over here. I don't know what the wattage will be for that one, but it can't be over 36 inches in length. We'll see on that. That's it for this. Thank you for watching again. Don't forget to, Fatima, what is it that I say? Don't forget to what? Like, subscribe, hit that bell button for notifications, and
If you want to put some wind behind our sails, consider becoming a Patreon. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.
what she said. Bye.